Early 2000s programming may not have been as transformative as the decade that came before, but of the big three cartoon networks, Nickelodeon was probably my favorite. You had shows like SpongeBob SquarePants, Jimmy Neutron, Cat Dog, Rugrats, and many more. You also had Fairly OddParents, which always seemed to be on whenever I turned on the TV. Over time, I grew to enjoy Timmy Turner and his world of characters, but that might have been because of Stockholm Syndrome. This is Fairly OddParents, Enter the Cleft. So Enter the Cleft came out in 2002, only in North America. Was Fairly OddParents not popular anywhere else? Anyway, the game is a platformer where you control the show's protagonist, Timmy Turner, as his Fairly Godparents, Cosmo and Wanda, grant his wish to jump into a comic book to meet his favorite hero, the Crimson Chin. When he enters the comic world, he's no longer Timmy Turner. He's Cleft, the boy Chin Wonder! However, evil is afoot in the comic world as three villains, Country Boy, Spatula Woman, and the Bronze Kneecap, kidnap the Crimson Chin and grab Timmy's comic book he uses to go back and forth between worlds. As such, Country Boy goes back to the past, Spatula Woman inhabits the modern day, and the Bronze Kneecap occupies the future. It is up to you to save the Crimson Chin. You will travel across 5 worlds with 4 stages each and fight a boss at the end. Enter the Cleft is pretty easy, all things considered. Enemies have patterns to them, so you can easily get used to that, and there's health to pick up all over the place. Not to mention you have unlimited continues. Since you're a superhero, you gotta have gadgets to aid you in your quests. You can obtain some whenever you run into Cosmo and Wanda, disguised as things like trash bins, rats, and other things like you would see them be disguised as in the show. I didn't use them much and ultimately didn't find them very useful when I did, but in the Fairy Godparents shop, they have 2 things that are pretty helpful. Normally, if you collect 100 magic wands, the currency of the game, you get an extra life. In the shop, you can pay around 80 wands for an extra life, or 50 to fill your hearts, which is one item I found most handy, especially in the later levels when the difficulty increases. One of the things I enjoyed most about Enter the Cleft is how some enemies dress differently depending on the environment. You have your cosplayers who are supposed to look like imitations of heroes and villains, but you also have characters like Vicky and Francis who will wear different costumes in the future and the past. I think that's kind of cool. Another thing I want to mention is how in World 3, right before you fight Spatula Woman, the toughest fight in the game in my opinion, she kidnaps Cosmo's mom and takes her inside Vicky's body of all places. I expected to see germs or antibodies as enemies you'd fight, but no, the cosplayers are enemies in her body. The idea of how they got there alone made me chuckle. Like, were they in there the entire time? I need some answers. The levels are varied and play similar to one another, except two that send you on a wild goose chase. The school stage sees you tracking down Mr. Crocker so he can give you back an item he stole, and the other has the mayor of Dimsdale sending you out to collect some items stolen from those three statues, which took a while for me to do. Those examples felt like padding, but were alright since they were mostly excuses to show off more characters from the show you may not have seen otherwise. There was only one level where I thought the gameplay felt maybe a little stale, and that was the shoot 'em up stage where Timmy rides a hoverbike in the future, shooting down ninja rabbits and space creatures. Other than that one level, the rest of the game plays like your average platformer. What the Fairly OddParents Enter the Cleft does right is it takes you through the world of the show and introduces you to many characters that inhabit it. There's another Fairly OddParents game on the GBA called Breakin' the Rules, and that one's not nearly as good as this one. Enter the Cleft is nothing groundbreaking or new. You've likely played similar licensed games, but the developers did a good job of making Enter the Cleft a game fans of the show would want to play. Believe it or not, being an average, maybe slightly above average platformer is quite an accomplishment considering how many bad licensed games there were on the GBA alone. A loose cartridge will set you back about $6 right now, so they're pretty cheap. Unless you're a fan of Fairly OddParents or you like platformers on the Game Boy Advance, this might not be the game for you. It's not bad, it's not great, but Fairly OddParents Enter the Cleft is content simply being itself. And you know what? That's alright in my book.